To begin, our first question is, you're largely a glass and metal artist. So what pulls you towards those media?
I have always loved glass. So glass was the first thing that I started working in, the first medium I started working in. And I just love the way when light comes through it, it really changes, it lights up and it becomes different depending on how the lighting is in a room or, the season of the year. So glass has always been my favorite. But because the light component is especially important to me, I always was looking for a way to get it raised up so that light could come through. So I worked for a little tiny bit with a ceramic artist, trying to figure out if she could help me make some forms to get glass with light through it. And that didn't go very well. So I tried to figure out a way that I could make my own structures. And I came to steel.
So as an artist, does your background have an impact on your art making? And if it does, what kind of influence does it have?
Yeah, so primarily I work as a commission artist, which means that I am trying to make something that will fit in someone's home primarily. I want to make something that will coordinate with their decor, with the style of their house, with anything that they have and that they love. And that is completely different than what I did with this piece. So to me, it was really a different approach to create something that was not trying to look nice in someone's home. I don't think many people want a Trump bomb in their home. Maybe they do, but I tried to just let go of that desire to make something that seemed pretty and like it melded, and just go with what felt right to me.
Okay, wonderful. So what feelings or events, especially considering this is a piece kind of outside of your norm, what feelings or events motivated you towards making Trump is the Bomb?
Yeah, I've been doing a few pieces since the 2016 election related to politics. So just thinking about how homogenized the country has become, with every little cluster being like themselves, and it's broken down into feeling like people don't communicate anymore. And so for a while I was trying to highlight that issue. And then I guess it was in June, after a few weeks after George Floyd was murdered, and Trump was at a news conference and said something like, I hope George is looking down on us now and seeing what a great time this is for our country. And I was just horrified because, no, he's not looking down and thinking this is great. He's dead. He was murdered. And it just seemed so ridiculous that would be what our president is saying, someone might think. And so then I just kind of got onto this quest of looking for quotes that he had said that were as ridiculous. Because the thing with him is it's not like you have to add anything to it. You don't have to add to his speech or his visual. Anytime his face just shows so much hatred and so much animosity towards people, and it's clear, so what I decided to do with that piece was just use it exactly the way he said it, use quotes exactly the way he said them, use his image exactly the way he puts it out there. And so that to me was really significant, to try to not make it a parody. It was the way he is.
Okay. So how does art for you then find its place in politics?
It's interesting. I think sometimes people are able to see something with art, with a visual representation, that they can't hear with an argument or a conversation. And I've seen it a lot on social media where people are just arguing back and forth, and they're arguing points that they're never going to come together. So I thought with some of the pieces that I've been trying to create, and especially with this Trump is the bomb, it was an approach to try to show visually that he is exploding our country. So and it's kind of a play on somebody being the bomb. I don't, do the kids still say that? Well, back in my day. So, just trying to show that, that he thinks he is this all-powerful force, and he's really destructive and explosive.
I think, like, to some extent, when someone looks at your piece, it can be seen as somewhat satirical on Trump and on current administration, on our current politics in the U.S. So, for you, what role does satire play in art, and how we use art as that political voice?
Yeah. Like I was saying, I think satire to me really means exaggeration. And a lot of times it's trying to pull something that's really ridiculous. And it's ridiculous just that he exists and that he's our president. I mean, it's ridiculous the words that come out of his mouth. It's ridiculous that he, lies to the country, and people just swallow it. So I think satire, if we can use it correctly, hopefully will be able to get some people to recognize that his words are ridiculous. His words are inflammatory. So that's my hope.
So then, considering everything you've said, the background of the piece, your own background, your own thoughts on our current politics, why was this piece important for you to make? And is there a kind of catharsis in the art making process and in satire?
Yeah, I think there is a catharsis. It feels good to be able to put out something that, for me, I really do try to be positive and to keep a good outlook and to make beautiful things. So to get to the point where I feel like that's not enough, that's not hitting the issues the way that they need to be met. That felt really good to be able to express my dissatisfaction, my anger with the way the administration is handling.
So how do you feel that the departure from your usual art style impacts how you feel about the process of making your piece in our current socio-political climate? And how do you imagine that choice changes how viewers that are more familiar with your work might read it?
Yeah, I had something interesting happen where I posted about the show on Facebook, and I mentioned that the piece that I had in the show was titled "Trump is the Bomb." And someone who is my age, who knows that expression, somebody is the bomb, reacted as if she thought I was a Trump supporter. And she got really upset with me and said, how could you think that he is a good president? She went off. And I had to respond right away and say, no, that's, it's something that I was very conscious of choosing that title, but I was doing it like you mentioned, with satire, with a little tongue-in-cheek, to be making the point about his explosive personality as opposed to thinking he's terrific. But so I think most people expect from me pretty art and things that are happy. And so I think just knowing me and the style that I usually work in, it was a little confusing for some people just to see that there's something so different. But I think we're all complex people, even if you're primarily in a good mood and happy, you can't be happy with what's going on right now. It's impossible. So to me, it felt good to be able to have that outlet, to be able to express my dissatisfaction. And I think it is also confusing at the same time for people who aren't used to hearing those sort of negative comments that I would be making.
Right. So then, when someone walks away from your piece, you don't want them to think you're a Trump supporter. You don't want
I
them to think
don't.
you're
No, I hope they don't. I hope that was just a one-off bad, yeah.
right, of course. And you don't want them to think that you're supportive of the current political climate, the current social climate. So then, what do you want them to feel when they walk away? What feeling do you want them to, what do you want to linger with them after they finish seeing your piece?
Yeah, one thing that I really spent a lot of time thinking about, and this is as an artist, you know, I was printing the images of his face on the glass before I attached them. And I spent a lot of time with some orange paint. I have some orange silver stain, and I was painting little samples to see how it would look if I made him orange, because, you know, that's one of the things that people always kind of make fun of him about. And I got some good results, but then after thinking about it, I didn't want to make fun of him because he uses spray tan. You know, that's not really the problem. I want people to recognize that the problem with him is him. That's who he is. So, you know, I think when he was voted in 2016, we didn't have the history to know if he really was going to be as awful as we worried that he was going to be. But now, 4 years later, he has done nothing but prove that he's a racist, homophobe, misogynist, immigrant hater. You know, he's everything that he looked like he'd be on the surface. And so the people that might have voted for him thinking, oh, we'll give him a chance, you know, he's a businessman. I want those people to really listen to his words and look at his hateful face and really think, you know, this is the man that you elected, and we're getting ready for the next election. We can't do this again. We can't take 4 more years of his explosive, horrible leadership. So that's what I really want. I want people to realize I didn't do anything to doctor his image. I didn't do anything to change his language. If you look up, you know, you can Google online Trump quotes, and it will take you down a rabbit hole for days of reading just the things that he said that are, you know, lies or anyway. So I think that's really what I'd like people to take away from it, is just, this is who he is. This is a genuine reflection of who he is. So I'm making a statement that may be satirical, but it's true. And I hope that they look at the piece and remember to vote.